Know that you matter. Know that you matter. The world needs you now. Look at somebody close to you and say to them, the world needs you now. The world does need us now. And each of us is carrying a piece of that light to put out into the world. You know, I know that we are all here today because we're on a spiritual awakening journey. That's why we come, right? And that's partly by just remembering the divine essence of who we are. But then that second little piece is what you're talking about this month, strength. Do you have the strength not only to remember your divine essence, but to share it? To have the courage and the strength to share your message with the world. Look at that person again and say, the world needs you now. Because your message is important. Are you aware that the message that you carry inside you, the vibrational energy that you carry inside of you, is important? You know, it's interesting that I'm talking on Super Bowl Sunday because I'm probably the least football fan in the world. If it was a ballet or a jazz performance, but football, not so much. But I do know that those people are strong, are they not? In physical ways, but also they have to be strong in emotional ways. I can't imagine what it would feel like for somebody to block me and knock me down on the ground in front of thousands of people, not only that are there, but that are watching and getting right back up again. Do you hear that? When something in our world knocks us down, and I was having conversations with some people this morning about the aging process. Anybody deal with that? You know, thing that might be right behind my left knee doesn't feel so good occasionally. And it catches. Anybody have things in your body that kind of go, wah, and you're like, how do I stay strong in the knowledge of my divine self and move with that? That's the deal. Are you aware that these 12 powers, you can use them for healing? Not only just for saying, I believe this, but it's in my body and it offers healing. So not only are there football players out there today, but there's going to be music out there today. And whether or not you like Usher, or whether or not you like anybody else that's going to be out there, okay, Taylor Swift, you have to know that they have to have strength to be able to get out there and do that. Can you imagine? Some of you can't even imagine doing what Dawn did. And Dawn, you are fabulous. Thank you. And can you imagine doing that in that stadium today? Going through all of that in front of thousands and thousands of people. That is sharing your strength and your message with the world. So what is your message? What is your strength? You know, some of us have physical strength. Some of us have the ability to do things. I've been working with Center for Spiritual Living that some of you know, that may be the elephant in the room right now, is getting ready to come over here and join you all. And I'm kind of one of their point people to help them, you know, let go, because there's been a lot of grief. They've been in a building for over 25 years. And to let that go and know that it's no longer viable for them to even keep it up because it needs a lot of work. And if you know anything about Metro codes, you know the minute you start fixing one thing, they want you to fix it all today. So it's like, okay, let's do something different. And so how exciting. Do you all realize you're on the cutting edge of something new right here? Do you all realize that there is nowhere else in the world? I'm talking, not talking just the United States. I'm talking about the whole world, that a religious science and a unity church are going to share space. Do you realize that? Do you know how exciting that is? That's huge. I've been speaking there for about 3 years, and it's taken them a while. And I know probably the first time some of you all heard, that's flowing from the top of our head all the way down to the soles of our feet and flowing from the ground, from Mother Earth, because you got green here today, isn't that wonderful? Flowing up from Mother Earth all the way through our bodies. We're a part of all that until we block it and forget it. So I'm going to talk about something today because when Reverend Christina reached out to me, I said, I know exactly what I want to talk about. And it probably will make some of us uncomfortable, so just buckle in for a minute, okay? Just buckle in. It won't be long, and then it'll be over with, and then you can release it. How's that? Has there ever been anybody in here other than me that has had to have a hard conversation about what your truth is with someone that did not agree? Yeah. Call that up for yourself for just a minute. Feels weird, doesn't it? And it's like if that person could just hear what I'm saying, but you know what I started realizing? I'm not hearing what they're saying either. So there's that piece. There's that little piece. And so I want you to hear this. We can't create a new world until that new world comes through us. We can't create a new world until that new world comes through us, and it's got to come through each of us. Some of us, and I would say I'm included, at times are waiting for somebody, those out there, somebody do something. Talk to that person over there because they're a mess. They've got weird beliefs, and I don't know what they're spewing on Facebook, and somebody needs to talk to them and get them set straight, right? Yeah. Have you ever thought about what Jesus, the master teacher, did when he was struggling with something and he didn't know what to do? Well, he called those first two disciples that we're talking about now. He called Peter and he called Andrew. Faith and strength. Faith in the center of my head. Strength in the bottom of my back. Anybody ever had back issues? Yeah. It's like, okay, where's my strength? Because I got to stand up straight and pull up straight. But he also called James and John. You ever read in the Bible at all? I know some of us kind of threw that book away for a while. But Peter, Andrew, James, and John, he called them when he was needing help. And James is located right close to your navel. Divine order. And John is located right here in your heart space. Love. What better alignment could we have strength-wise than to have faith and strength and knowing that divine order is happening even if I'm not sure what that looks like? And love from myself to the situation. So I want to share with you a small little story this morning from the Bible that is one of my favorites of all times. It's the story of Queen Esther. And if you've never heard that story, Esther was a little Jewish girl that was an orphan, and she was adopted by her uncle, and she was living in the land of Persia. And the Jews weren't looked at very nicely in Persia. In fact, they were persecuted. And so one day she found out that the king had even beheaded his own wife because she wouldn't worship in the way that he wanted her to. Sounds like a real jewel, doesn't he? And her uncle said to her, Esther, I believe that he is looking for a new wife, and I believe you're it. Now, do you think Esther was excited? I would have said, no, thank you. I don't want to go get my head chopped off. And when he finds out I'm a Jew, guess what he's going to do? So this went on for a little while, and then the king's people, his board, his administration, threw something that was kind of like a beauty pageant so that the king could find just the right woman. And she had to be beautiful. And guess who won the beauty pageant? Esther. Okay. So did she realize in that moment, did she realize her strength? Did she have faith? Was her heart wrapped around what might have been divine order for her to be in that position? I don't know. But I can only imagine what I would have felt like if I was in that same position. Because what was she going to do? Was she going to be honest with her husband and say, you know, I'm a Jew, and you're killing and persecuting Jews, and I don't like that? So she didn't say anything for a long time. Have you ever tried to hide the truth because you weren't strong enough to share it with whoever it was you were having a conversation with? I have. Sometimes it's political conversations. Sometimes it's religious conversations, and I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to say anything. Because I know if I say something, guess what? But I'm hiding my truth. That's why I said this is not going to be comfortable for all of us this morning, because we all got people, family members, dear friends that do not agree with us right now. So just think about that. Well, one day Esther decided, I've got to pull everything within me that is strong. She was standing up straight. She was breathing into the essence of who she was, and she said, I'm going to go talk to the king. He's my husband. I should be able to talk to him. If you've read the story, she couldn't just walk in. He was the king. She had to get permission to talk to him. Now, let me tell you how permission was granted. You walked up, and all of his people were standing there, staring at you. And you had to say, I would like to have a conversation with the king. And so they would talk amongst themselves and make a decision about what's going to happen. And then eventually they opened the door and kind of push you in. And think about if she was pushed in from that back door there, and the king was sitting up here, and she had to walk all the way down here and get ready to say what she's going to say. But not only did that, you ever thought about what it would feel like if you were in that kind of situation? And so Esther goes and talks to those people, and they say, okay, he's really not really busy right now. We think he might can talk to you. I'm sure she's going. They open the door. Esther steps onto the carpet that's rolling up to him, and he looks and sees who it is, and he reaches out and he hands his scepter out to her. So that's one good thing, right? But she's still got to say her truth. And as she is walking up to get ready to speak, she's probably checking in with her heart, wondering if she's breathing. Does she have faith? Is she strong enough to stand in the truth of who she is and what her message is? Does she believe that there's divine order happening and that she is the one? The scriptures say about Esther that she was created for such a time as this. And to know that when she walked up and had the conversation, the king was really amazed. And he loved her dearly and knew that something had to change. And so Esther was able to be strong enough and have enough faith and have enough courage to speak her truth. And things began to change. I want you to close your eyes just a minute. And I want you to put your left hand on your heart. And I want you to put your right hand somewhere close to your stomach, close to your navel. And I want you just to breathe for just a minute. And then whatever that truth is that probably we all have that we need to speak to someone. And you know who that someone is. Just allow yourself to breathe into that, and then to breathe out any uncomfortableness you might be feeling in your body right now. Just breathe out. And just allow your breath to balance within your body. And know that you have come to this moment for such a time as this. You are strong. You are full of faith. You are standing or sitting tall. You know that divine order is happening in this very moment, and that you are able to wrap your love, your heart, around what is and move forward. Allow yourself to whisper, I'm here for such a time as this. I'm here for such a time as this. I'm here for such a time as this. And then bring your attention back into the room. The spiritual awakening journey that we are all on is reminding us again of the power and presence that is flowing in and through us all the time. We just have to have the strength and the courage to be in that, in whatever place we're called to be. Namaste.